I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening to Monday, March 7th, 2016 annual town meeting. I'd like to call it to order. 6 o'clock on the dot. Always, as we'd like to mention, any public comment concerning any issue not on the agenda.
That would be me.
Okay. State your name for the record, please, and
Okay.
I think Lynn probably knows. So.
My name's Pam Skinner. I live on Ranch Drive, 2820. And this is in regards to the school that's going at the end of the road.
Okay.
I just wanted to appraise the board of some developments which they may or may not be aware of that have come up in the last 2.5 weeks now. One was a work meeting on February the 18th that Stephanie attended and I listened to the minutes. And then the other was a work meeting on March the 3rd. And we as homeowners on Ranch Driver have a couple concerns, so we just wanted to bring that out again.
Great.
Number one, I wanted to let you guys know that the school board never have met with any of us. They assured us that they would at the last meeting, and they have not taken any word. I need a word.
Besides the hallway, they didn't take the hallway as the official meeting, I take.
I guess.
Or they thought they did.
Maybe that was the official meeting and I missed it.
There was correspondence after, but they have not.
They have not.
Those letters that meeting.
Yes, Stephanie emailed at least twice,
Well, Chip was.
and
yeah.
Chip was CC'd on
So
that.
what was the third meeting? Was it another work meeting? Was it a,
The two work meetings that we're involved with was February 18th and March 3rd, and they're
Both work
both
meetings.
work meetings.
okay.
The March 3rd one, they had technical difficulties and I was unable to listen to it. So we just got an update from another person that was there. So that was the first thing. The second thing is, if the town board is aware that, I know they are, that the school board is asking to hook to the sewer there in Heber. And Heber was a little, I can say on the town council meeting, they were a little surprised that they had not applied for that before they bought the land. That they thought maybe that they should have taken care of that before they bought the land, so they were a little upset. I think they were upset about that. They have asked the school district to do a road study before they approve any connection to their septic system. They also said that their septic system that would fill their septic system, no one else would be able to connect at that point. And that was concerning to them because they're not quite sure who else might want to connect in the future to there, be in the RV park or more homes or whatever. Let's see.
When you say septic system, you mean the sewer system?
I'm sorry, the public sewer system. There was conversation about the septic system that the school talked about putting in, and the health department gentleman, Mr. Probst, did not recommend that because of the wells in the area. He did not like that idea at all. And let's see, so the sewer and the road study, and then the road study brings us to our other concern is the impact to our neighborhood. Because when they do their road study, as I gave you the plat map there, but basically they'll be coming in and doing it, they talked about doing a cul-de-sac at the end of 2400 South or Rainbow Way, and then turning and having the buses come out. So that's gonna be, they haven't done the road study yet, but it's gonna be an ugly road study. So one of the options that was mentioned in passing in the meeting on February 18th is the opening of Ranch Drive. So
They said they have mentioned that?
it was mentioned Heber City Council.
Okay. Yeah.
Just in passing, but it's still on their list, even though we all know that that's not on our list. So I want to just wanted to bring that out again, that that's still on their radar, let's say. So where we're at now with the traffic study on the, let's see, the school board came back to the March 3rd meeting and was told again to do the traffic study, which now they're evidently going to be doing that, and then we'll go from there as far as the hookup, if it's approved or not, and then what other options they have for the road impact. Any questions? I just want to make sure you guys were kind of up on board. I'm sure you already are, but we're very concerned in our neighborhood of what's going on and want to stay on top of it with the school board so that we have no surprises in the future.
So seeing as how the couple of Johns were late.
Well, that's the personal
I
problem.
apologize for both of us, but this is that emergency
No,
what
I
they were
did not
talking
even
about?
speak to that. That is included on their school plat map, which Chip has there. I didn't even mention that. The traffic studies involved with Rainbow Way, is that the name of it? 2400 South.
And the road going to 40.
40 is not in the
definitely not in
future.
the future at this time, according to Heber City Council and the school at the meetings I've been to,
That's owned by
the Sheltons.
Shelton's, and they've made no effort to,
I understand Shelton's, it's really a Heber City issue. Shelton's, you know, it's not Shelton's holding it up, it's Heber City and the monies and who's gonna pay for the intersection,
Yeah.
UDOT and the whole agreement and the whole.
Yeah.
oh, that's right.
That's a big one, but that's kind of what everybody's wanting. I mean, us, them, everybody's.
Right, now, and they, I think they're still showing this gate
They
on
are.
the end of our street, which you know, we took great efforts, and we spent a lot of money per lot, about $900 per lot owner, to shut that down, and they're still showing that,
This is an emergency one that they're talking about.
Emergency.
which no other school has in the entire state of Utah. You go to any elementary school, you see no emergency gate coming in the back of the property anywhere.
I thought there might have been an agenda, I talked about this. So just to let you know, we are meeting, the same folks that met on the first two meetings, we're meeting with them on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We are aware of all the things you brought up and not really a whole lot more. I mean, those are the issues. And this is the second show I've seen now that shows two different ways. And my understanding is if there was an emergency one, it would be here. And so all that's going to be discussed very thoroughly. We are aware that they have tried to go with Heber City and push that the church has precedence and some other things, but Heber City is really not too likely to move forward or be pushed around. I was in a meeting and I heard their attorney making this argument in the last Heber City Council meeting. I believe they're going to turn their guns on us, and we are expecting that to happen, and we understand our hard lines, and we will do what we kind of need to do to make sure that those hard lines aren't crossed. So. And that would include any, some legal issues that need to go to our attorneys if need be. So hopefully Wednesday, I'm looking for a somewhat optimistic view of what we want to accomplish here. So we are aware of it.
Is that an open meeting?
Yeah, I don't believe so. I think it's just 3 and whatever school board personnel there. I forget the gal's name. She made the call. I kind of made a phone call saying, I think you're getting ahead of the card a little bit here. And, we'll have a meeting, and then she called the meeting together. So I would assume it's kind of like our first one or two, or the first one before you.
One last thing, Mike Duggan brought to my attention, and we've got 3 new lot owners on our street, which they kind of, all of a sudden, they're getting pretty concerned. At least that's what I'm hearing. Yes, sir, there he is, Bridger. Yeah, so I think that they're showing the same concerns as we are, and we're going to try to unify a little bit. Mike Duggan brought up the idea that, I actually asked him, could we even privatize our road? And he said, well, that might be worth a look. There might be ways to do that. You'd have to be responsible for removing the snow and so forth, but that's something that we've tossed around a bit. But there is a concern Mike brought to my attention when I talked to Scott Keel behind us. He said the same thing. He's a paving contractor. Our road is built with now nearly enough road base. It's a thin layer of blacktop. It's breaking up fairly severely already. And they still, even though they've said there won't be any construction traffic down there, there's a fair amount. They're down there all the time looking at stuff. Sometimes they're pretty heavy trucks. But if they don't have any access to get into that school and they start running heavy equipment down there, pretty much sure that that road's gonna fall apart.
And I know that was.
Be almost like gravel, huh?
Yeah, it really isn't. I think if you looked at it, it's not a great road. It's just okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that comment.
You bet. Okay.
Thank you.
Pam, just one more thing. You mentioned that Probst had said he's didn't like the septic. Who was that we were indicating to in his title?
Wasn't he the health?
Pardon, what was the question again, sir?
She was actually there.
Who was saying that they didn't want him to hook into a septic? Who's discouraging that?
It was the health
The
department.
county health.
Yes, he adamantly did not want that to
Dwight?
happen.
By chance, do you remember the name?
It was up, it was.
I thought it was Probst.
That's
When
what
I
you said
listened
was
to
a
the
Probst.
minutes, that's what I heard.
Dwight or,
Dwight, it was Dwight. What's Dwight's
Yeah.
last name?
Hill.
Yeah, I believe that's who it was,
Okay.
yes.
taller
Sorry,
gentleman?
Yes, dark
I
hair.
have information on.
That's okay, because I heard a new name, that's why I was asking.
Oh, good.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah,
That was
he
what I
was
said.
adamant that because of our wells in
Okay.
that situation, yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, which would be business license applications.
Okay. We've got a few of those tonight. They're all renewals, I believe, except for one. We have CCH2O, BMCI, Mountain Valley Construction, Timberline Lumber, TJ's Mutt Cuts, Phil's TV Appliance, Smitty Small Engine Repair. This one here, I believe, is a new one. Larson Ground Maintenance.
They came in last year.
Did they?
There was no new ones.
Oh, there is no new one, okay. And J&M Trucking. So obviously, we're getting to that time of year that everybody's sending in.
Okay. With regards to renewals or any other business license, I know that the legislature is going to be ending here soon and can make some changes to that. I know in the code it also talks about before you make renewals that, you know, if someone went outside their guidelines renewals. So I'd almost like to maybe hold off on this and see what the legislature says because there's things in the code that might affect renewal. Does
You want
anybody
to
have-
hold off renewing them?
Well, I'm asking that as a question from.
What will they do?
Well,
They do right now, or?
there could be some other things that may need to be discussed on the renewal that would be affected in our code, and that's why I'm saying, do we want to do that, discuss that, or not with regards to putting it off for another month until we realize what the state can and can't do?
Well, even if they pass it, the governor will have to sign it, so when you're looking at a June implementation,
So we'd be looking at the next year, is that correct?
so if that helps.
More or less?
Well, I just question to anybody else that, yeah.
If that
As far
helps.
as if there's a change, we'd have to look at probably the next go-around. I'm thinking, I don't know.
Okay.
That's what it seems logical. Of course, government's not logical.
Have we had complaints on any of these?
We have no written complaints on any of those.
We have verbal complaints?
We do. We have a bunch of verbal complaints.
That might be something that,
No, we're going to talk about this.
no, we're not, we're going to wait until next month, but those are some things, that's why I'm talking about that. So it's not going to be implemented, right now they need to have a license each year.
Yeah, they'll be in violation of our town code right now if we don't issue a license. Yeah, as far as the violations, John, goes, we don't take action on verbal, we have written, because at that point, we're probably headed to court, so. Anybody that complains that wants us to take action, I've asked them to provide us with a written copy.
Yeah, I know that, but
Okay.
we can still, I still wouldn't mind discussing them. I don't know, unless that's what you meant by take action, you can discuss it.
Well, I think, you know, we don't want them to be in violation of the code, of their license and what the code says, but there's some code that maybe we all look at that would maybe shed some more light on renewals and new business license. But as Eric had indicated, the legislature is going to be making some changes here, and they'll be done in a week. So,
But what I'm wondering is if there are any that we want. You know, we're talking a lot about these ideas of business licenses. I think it's on our agenda for tonight, isn't it?
we're at that right now.
Well, for,
New applications,
we were gonna talk about,
planning department report code violations, enforcement.
no, we've been talking about looking at
Business license.
business licenses and the
Oh, yeah.
code and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
things
yeah.
that we are gonna permit and not permit and all of that. I don't see that on the agenda for tonight, though.
Yeah, I thought last month we decided to wait till after the legislature before we expended a bunch of energy on something that the legislature is going to take out of our control,
Completely?
partial. I can say that because it hasn't passed yet.
It is. And that's why I made that kind of a comment, just to want to wait and not vote.
Yeah, that's, I'd almost, I mean, we get one chance a year to address concerns with these businesses.
No, you can address the concerns anytime. You have one chance a year to not issue a license.
So, but you have, that license is good for a year.
It is.
I don't know that you can, so if they have it for a year, they got it.
No, if they're in violation,
Yeah.
they
And we
use
can
it.
pull their license too.
Okay, so we can address business violations at any time.
Yes.
And pull the license.
Yeah, it goes through a hearing. We give them notice of a hearing. They come to the hearing to discuss that, and then that appeal process starts and all that spelled out in our codes.
Hopefully that never gets that far, right?
It will.
Maybe they'll get in compliance.
Part of progress.
More
Yeah,
than,
get there.
probably more than one person.
Further.
Well, it's pretty easy to be in compliance right now. We don't have any rules. Silly. No, that's true. That's the bottom line. It is.
It's the way the citizens want it.
Okay. But they do have one in Heber City, right?
No, they don't have any anywhere, you can find in the residence.
Okay.
Any other business license before we move on, right?
No, that's it for the business license.
Planning Department report, code violations and enforcement.
Here's the planning report. We have 147.25 planning hours this month, 28.25 on Blue Stake hours this month. Code violations, we have an illegal building at 3000 South Daniel Road that we're still trying to notify the owner on. They did comply with the stop work order as we indicated before. We do have a driveway on an abutting property at Big Hollow. We did not issue a CO, but we did we issue a temporary?
No.
Okay, we still have not issued a temporary. I didn't have a problem with the temporary, but
So are you talking about number one still, Eric?
I'm on driveway on abutting property.
Yeah, that's the illegal, that's the same one?
No, two different ones.
So what's the illegal building at 3,000?
That's the addition onto the trailer at the trailer park at the corner of 3000 South.
And they're just leaving it up, it's the plan.
Well, we issued a stop work order, so they stopped work. Now we're going to the owner, because they didn't come in to get a building permit. Now we're going to the owner and issuing him a notice of violation.
We haven't done that yet?
We have not done that yet.
Okay.
Okay, the other one's on one of the new houses up on Big Hall Road, up by the gravel pit. They have
This
it-
driveway thing?
Yeah, and it actually is on another person's property. They thought they'd get away with a line adjustment, but those negotiations are not following through, so.
So whose properties?
Well, there's two of them there that they actually meet up, and so the driveway comes out right on that corner.
Right on
This
the
is
bend?
Right on the Bennett. What's that?
Did Brett live over there?
Right.
That one
So-
neighbor I used to have.
So anyway, it turned out, he thought he was on his property. When the white lines are drawn up, it's not.
Bennett thought he was on his property?
One of the two, it's on the Bennett property, but they need to move the driveway to theirs or get in one. Because we can't issue a CO for somebody that doesn't have access to a house. So the town won't issue a CO, a certificate of occupancy for that residence until that's worked out.
Have they got room enough to?
Well,
Yeah, you think,
because it all hits in the middle of winter, so you have all those
Right.
circumstances going on all at the same
But
time.
it's
So
something they can rectify.
they totally are in agreement to get that done. We may issue temporary depending on what their situation was. I wasn't opposed to that, me and Ryan had discussed that, but
So this is for the Bennett house, so the CO's for the Bennett house?
Yes. So I spoke with him today, and we talked about the temporary CO and the bonding.
Mhm.
And his comment was, as long as the weather holds, that he plans to have it done in a few weeks. And so by the time he gets the bonding in place, it can be done. So I think it sounded like he was gonna proceed with just get it,
just get it done.
Just
They
get
have a
done.
piece of machinery up there now, I think they can do it.
And he commented that the machinery is there waiting for it to dry out, so that the contractor's highly motivated to get done and get on to his next job.
Yeah.
And so when we talked about the temporaries, as Ryan indicated, I said if they put up a bond, that we wouldn't really have an issue, that they could bond over for that. But sounds like he's just gonna move forward, so. And then, of course, the next line, the high wind damage to the power poles along, that was along
Daniel Road.
Daniel Road. We lost everything south of 3000 South.
Wow.
So you'll notice there's some new poles in there.
Was it trees that were near?
It was just the wind just took them.
Just the poles itself,
Three or four.
so they weren't down far enough?
The wires came down, it was, one pulled the other one down, so.
Wow,
And of course, we lost a couple of buildings around town, you guys probably noticed.
Oh, yeah.
no,
So, we did have a gas leak at Little Sweden and Mill Road, which happened to be the perfect storm, because me and Ryan were both in St. George at conference at the time. Well,
wow.
we heard there was a gas leak, so we got out of town.
We were talking about it.
It came and went quick, yes.
But that, I went up and that's marked, it looks like they had a hard time finding it. Looks like they had several different poke holes to get into that. They weren't close to our water line. There, but we have quite a separation between the gas line and the depth of our water line.
As long as they didn't find the water line trying to fix the gas leak.
Yeah, did you see all the holes they punched in there for their sniffer? That looks scarier than the day.
They hit right on the leak.
Did they?
When they cut the 3x7,
Out in the road, cut that square out.
they were right on top of it. They did go down about 2 feet below the gas line, which would put it at an elevation at the bottom of that hole to where our water line was, but we were over to the west of it, a good 3 to 4 feet. But everything went really smooth, and it is too bad you guys weren't around.
It happened to work out for us. The other one was the earthquake we had, 2.4 magnitude, 9 miles west, northwest. Did anybody know about that?
What was that?
Okay. We did have one on February 24th at 2:34 in the morning.
6 miles deep, actually.
Wow, over in Midway, huh?
Yeah. Well, 9 miles.
So
It's,
that's
you
not
wouldn't think
just too
Midway's that
much.
far away from Highland, but it was also 9 miles from Highland. So,
In between on the mountains.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, the other one was the Whit Heiner. I did send a letter to the Heber City Council with some concerns on that annexation that's going on the other side of 40. We had some, I guess it would be communication issues with Heber City regarding our notice of this.
Where's the Heiners at?
It's on the other side of Highway 40,
Yeah,
from Mill Road where it crosses up to the trailer park
okay,
on that side. So
okay.
they're looking at annexing that property. We had a couple of issues. It looks like Heber City's just gonna work with us on those. So. I think-
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. So we think that's all good on that one. Okay. The other one is the operation and maintenance manual for the Daniel Municipal Pump House System. I've had a chance to review that. Ryan did, and Epic did a super job on that. There's a couple of questions I have that maybe we've changed a couple of things on there, but I think we need to move forward with that document and have that in place. And it's, I guess there's some things in there that maybe some folks wouldn't know what they are. When, you know, when you just say, call out the PLC, and some people don't know that's a ProLogic controller, and things like that, but I don't know that it's that critical, because if you don't know what it is, you really shouldn't be messing with it.
Mike Duggan and I had a lot of debates. He wanted it to read like an airplane manual, where if condition A happened, you turn to page 836 and it walks you through what to do by step. And the problem is I guess you could do that, but envisioning every scenario that could happen and every possible valve. And so what we tried to do is, here's the valves. So the water's here, the people are here, and here are the valves. You figure out which valves you want to turn to get the water to go which way. You know?
Yeah.
And so we kind of took a more generic approach. So I would agree with, if you don't know what PLC is, just don't,
Yeah.
know that that's it and you shouldn't touch it.
Don't look and see if it's transmitting or receiving, it's okay. So there's a lot of things in there that maybe, that I deal with, because I would understand that more than an average person probably that's not dealing with that. But I think we should move forward that document. I mean, that was a great thing that happened, we were in St. George, anything And who's to say that who's gonna go up there and have to reset that? I know we have a couple issues with a couple of valves that are indication, as far as the indicator of their position, we need to fix. But other than that, I think that everything else in that document looks
Couldn't you
good.
just have add a page with explanation of what abbreviations mean?
Well, when you're there though, you're gonna be in chaos.
Well, I know, but still, and then that at least gives you an idea of what it is if somebody doesn't know.
We could add that page, and I think there are a couple things that have changed since we got done, since, you know, it's
Yeah.
been 5 or 6 years that we've been operating it, and there've been some, we'll call them improvements, changes from the original diagram, but we've got the document, I think you just make those changes.
Yeah, because the upgrades we've done definitely will affect that. I mean, we don't want to see a water hammer go down the line or anything that'll take the line out of the ground, but I think it's a great document. I mean, I can make a lot of sense out of that, of what to look for, make sure the pump's running on our chlorinator and work right through it. So I think that that's, have you had a chance to review that, Kim?
I haven't.
Before we adopt that, we should have our water guys read that.
Well, and I was gonna say, the timing you asked about that, I would think that just as soon as these other few questions were implemented, however we have to do that as a council, if we have to as a council, but.
Well, it probably should be part of our emergency response
I agree.
plan.
Part of this, where Mike's got different scenarios, that could be something that could be just an added document later.
Well, but there's so many scenarios.
I
mean,
know,
we have
but-
spring and a well feeding and. I mean,
But
there's
you
just
could
so
have a
much
few
going
different
on.
ones in case if you've got somebody that's in there that doesn't quite know what's going on, they can at least, hey, here we got this, what's going on? At least bouncing that back to hopefully they can make a decision that's gonna be leaning towards the right one.
Yeah. Well, I think most of it's automated and as far as when the well kicks on, to automatically go to discharge and then it'll shut that valve.
Yeah.
We really do. We're a small system, but we're complicated.
We're a small system, but we got a
It could be worse.
great
Yes,
system.
we are complicated.
Yeah, but in case
We have a
of
top-notch
power
system.
failure or something like that.
Yeah, and most of the time the power failure will fix itself unless we have to end up jumping on that transformer.
Yeah. Most of the time, those alarms aren't really a big deal. It's just if you see the power failure and then 6, 12 hours later, you haven't got the power restored notice.
The top end starts calling in, they're out of water.
No, so hopefully, before that happens is when you might want to go check and see if you just missed the email or if the power's still out for some reason.
And do the same folks get that, you, Mike, and Ryan?
I do not get that alarm.
So just you and Mike? And Kim, do you get that?
I've got
And Gary?
If I've got my computer up, which I don't most of the time. But we did lose a leg up there on the power. And
Since we changed the transformer.
That's not good.
No,
That'd be
they
last
just
month by
had-
chance?
yes. And the Heber Power and Light's really good to work with, I feel like. And they come out and they got to the bottom of that pretty quick. But, you know, back to some of the problems that we have up there, most of the problems are gonna be around where the well is at, and what kind of valves are going on there. The rest of them, you know, you could put some flow arrows on that pipe that
Yeah.
might help a little bit. I mean, that's a tinker toy solution, but you'd be surprised
Just
how
to
that helps in San.
Polish proof it.
But,
That's why there's
and
lock
then
on the door.
we've had a little bit of trouble with, is it the vacuum on the chlorinator?
Yeah, that vacuum hose is.
Oh, the line?
So we're aware of some of the problems that are going on up there, but overall, it functions very well, and for all that it achieves up there, it runs relatively simple. But it's nice to have flow arrows and a manual, so, yeah, it's a
Is
good
it-
idea.
The question on the power, is it three-phase or just single-phase?
It's three.
It's 3-phase.
Three-phase.
Yeah.
So are the motors three-phase or
Yes.
single-phase? Well, one leg goes out.
No, we have it,
No, because.
kicks it out.
Yeah, we've resolved that issue because we had one leg that was going out on a regular basis. So there's a phase monitor in there before all the
Oh,
pumps.
You did a knee replacement, huh?
So,
Yes.
so in the event that one of the legs drops below, I mean, it doesn't even have to go out, just brown out.
Yeah.
It shuts the power off to the whole unit, and so we don't have a a brownout situation on our motors, which is great because it saves our motors and our VFDs, which are expensive. The bad news is that they have a lot of brownouts, and we get a lot of power outages that weren't really outages, except that we kind of triggered it ourselves.
Yeah.
And would that have, when I brought to you about that pump motor, would that have anything to do that laid? Was that laid down for any length of time that might have caused any issue with that? No.
No, I think the light went down because of some contact out on the pole. That's the way it
It was
is.
just hanging there, I'd imagine, and that's what you
Yes.
fixed it.
So the switch, when it detects a lower voltage on one of the lines, it just automatically shuts the whole thing down.
Yeah, so it monitors all three legs, the voltage to ground, so they're all 270, 265, 270, and if it drops below, I think 255, I can't
Okay.
remember the numbers,
That was
then
my
it kicks
next
out all
question.
3 phases to the pump station, and we're dark for 10 or 15 minutes. I don't remember, Gary remembers where we set that.
Until it comes back on,
Yeah,
senses that it's.
and so, yeah, so if it has senses of power, it stays out for the whole time, whole duration that there's a problem, and then the power has to be good for 10 or 15 minutes before it even tries to kick back on.
Great switch.
And Storm Haven's the same way now with the generator, so once it detects any kind of brownouts or failure conditions, it kicks over to the generator, and then it takes 15 minutes before, the generator will run the system for that 15 minutes after the power's been restored and consistent. So if the power goes up and down like it does sometimes, we're on the generator the whole time, and when the power's done and it's back on for real, it'll kick back over.
Is there anything that can be put at the line towards that end or at the transformer to try to equalize that? Is there anything that you know of that?
Well, they
does
blamed
that?
us, they thought it was our transformer, so we went and bought a new transformer.
It was
Back
theirs.
when?
Yeah.
It was their transformer.
No, it's ours, we got a new
It
one.
was ours?
It wasn't the problem, it still happened after we got the new
Well,
transformer.
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't ours then.
We're easy to work with too. Yeah, we picked up the new one that they said would fix it, but obviously we're outside of the parameters that allows that switch to disengage, so.
Okay.
But maybe they found the problem.
We'll see.
We will see.
We'll continue to monitor the phases and see if we no longer have the issue we were having.
Yes.
Wow. So they were out also on Daniels Road there between 3000 and Little Sweden, and got new poles in. Beaver Power Line.
Yes, they was. Yeah, they was standing them up right alongside the other poles.
Swell.
And so I didn't even get any emergency blue stake on that.
They called it.
I happened to be driving back from Vernal that night and saw them up there.
Wow, that's great.
They were in-
Contacted
They
us.
were like 3 days maybe?
What's that?
They weren't there like 3 days?
Yeah,
That's
but they were
great.
they were trying to get the power lines off the road. They didn't even call in a blue stake, but they stayed pretty close to original poles. But,
That's great.
okay, you guys got any other questions on those other items on the bottom of that?
I'd just maybe like to let the council know on the Highway 189 agreement. Eric and I have worked quite a bit on it. I want to put it to rest as far as not having it on the agenda anymore. I feel at this point where there's not a certainty on